Love doesn't always arrive with loud declarations or picture-perfect moments. More often, it reveals itself quietly, through small, unspoken actions that gently speak the truth of someone's heart. When a man is falling for you, he might not come out and say it right away. He might not even fully realize it himself. But his behavior begins to change. His presence becomes softer, more intentional, and his attention begins to settle on you in ways that feel deeper than casual interest. These shifts are rarely loud. They're not the kind of things that get posted on social media or talked about in group chats. They're subtle and personal. They show up in the way he watches you when you're not looking, how he listens when you speak, and how he naturally makes room for you in his world, without needing a reason or an audience. That's what makes these signs so meaningful. They're not for show. They're sincere. Many people miss these moments because they're too busy waiting for grand gestures or three-word confessions. But real emotional connection builds slowly, in silence, in the small pauses between words. It grows in the way he starts to prioritize your happiness, how he protects your peace, and how he finds comfort just by being around you. It's in how he begins to share pieces of himself, the ones he hides from the rest of the world, and how he starts imagining his future with you in it, without even realizing he's doing it. When a man has chosen you emotionally, everything about his presence begins to reflect that choice. He doesn't need to constantly say, "I love you," because his actions start saying it for him. He becomes more attuned to your needs, more responsive to your feelings, and more thoughtful about how his life fits with yours. His loyalty becomes quiet, but strong. His attention becomes focused, not scattered, and you'll start to feel it, not through dramatic moments, but through a deepening calm that settles between you. This video is for anyone wondering where they truly stand in someone's heart. It's for the woman who's felt the softness in his eyes but isn't sure what it means. For the girl who notices the little things he does but hesitates to believe they're signs. And for anyone who wants to understand what it looks like when a man chooses love, not with his words, but with his daily, deliberate actions. These 15 silent ways aren't about assumptions, they're about recognition. They help you see what he may not be saying yet, but is already showing you in so many quiet, meaningful ways. So if you've ever asked yourself, is he really choosing me? Listen closely. The answer might already be there, in the silence, waiting to be seen. 1. He prioritizes your happiness without making it obvious. When a man has quietly chosen you, one of the most telling signs is how he prioritizes your happiness in subtle, almost unnoticeable ways. He doesn't make a show of it. He doesn't need recognition or praise. Instead, his efforts to make you feel good, safe, and emotionally cared for are woven into his daily actions. It's in the way he adjusts plans without complaint, in the choices he makes that lean toward what would make you smile, not just himself. You may not always realize it, but behind the scenes, he's thinking about how to make your life easier, how to make your day lighter. He picks up on your moods, your energy, and your unspoken needs, and somehow, without asking, responds to them. It's not about being perfect or doing grand things. It's about quiet consistency. He pays attention to what makes you comfortable and what brings you peace, and he makes those things a part of how he interacts with you. This kind of behavior doesn't come from obligation. It comes from a place of care so deep that your happiness has become emotionally connected to his own. If something bothers you, it affects him too. And when something makes you light up, he holds onto it like it matters. That's what choosing someone truly looks like. Not with loud words, but with thoughtful actions that place your well-being at the center, often without you ever needing to ask. When a man quietly chooses you, he shows it by the way he carries your joy as part of his own purpose. It's not dramatic or flashy. It's soft, consistent, and deeply real. And sometimes, the most beautiful love isn't the loudest. It's the kind that silently puts your happiness first, every single time. 2. He makes time for you, even on his busiest days. When a man is truly choosing you, even in silence, one of the strongest signs is how he makes time for you. No matter how packed or demanding his schedule may be, life gets busy for everyone. Work, stress, responsibilities, and commitments often compete for attention. But when someone really values you, they don't let busyness become an excuse. Instead, they carve out moments, even if brief, to show you that you matter. He may not have hours to spare, but he finds a way to check in, to call, to send a quick message, or to see you, even if it means rearranging his day. These actions aren't about routine, they're about priority. Without saying a word, he's communicating that you're important enough to interrupt his day for. That kind of effort doesn't come from politeness or habit. It comes from genuine emotional investment. It's not always dramatic or visible. Sometimes it's the late-night call after a long day, the surprise visit in the middle of a busy week, or simply being present when you need him most. These quiet gestures speak of someone who doesn't just make time when it's easy, but also when it's hard. And that's where the depth of his feelings really shows. When someone's feelings are real, they naturally seek connection, even when they're tired, overwhelmed, or stretched thin. Making time becomes his way of saying, "You're a part of my life, even on the toughest days." It's a silent, steady kind of love that doesn't always need words, because in a world full of distractions, choosing someone with your time is one of the most honest forms of affection. And when he chooses to be there, even when life is loud and chaotic, it means his heart has already chosen you. 3. He listens closely, even to things you didn't realize you said. When a man is slowly but surely falling for you, his attention to your words becomes something deeper than casual conversation. He listens, not just to the obvious things you say, but also to the quiet details you may not even remember sharing. The small comments you make in passing, the subtle shifts in your tone, the stories you mention only once, all of these stay with him. This kind of listening comes from emotional presence, not obligation. It means he's not just hearing you. He's truly absorbing what you say. You might forget mentioning your favorite childhood memory or a stressful experience at work, but he won't. Those words stay with him because they come from you, and when feelings are real, even the smallest parts of you matter. He listens because he wants to understand you, not just respond to you. It's not about preparing the perfect reply. It's about holding space for what you say, no matter how big or small. This type of listening creates an emotional safety between you. It tells you, without fanfare, that you're being seen and heard on a deeper level. You don't have to repeat yourself or fight for attention. He's already paying close attention because your voice carries weight in his world. The things you say, especially the things you don't think twice about, start to influence how he treats you, what he remembers, and how he shows care. When someone listens this closely, it's not random. It's rooted in care. And that kind of attention is rare in a world where most people only listen to reply. His quiet focus, his ability to pick up what others miss, is his way of holding your words like something valuable. Because to him, everything you share is worth remembering. 4. He remembers your likes, dislikes, and routines. When a man is emotionally drawn to you, he begins to remember things that others often overlook. Your likes, dislikes, and daily routines. He notices what kind of music you play when you're stressed, how you take your coffee, or what time of day you're usually most talkative. These details don't stick with him because he's trying to impress you. They stay with him because he's genuinely interested in who you are beyond surface-level attraction. You don't need to constantly remind him of what you prefer or what makes you uncomfortable. He simply knows, because he's been paying attention without needing to be told twice. Whether it's avoiding something you dislike, offering something you love, or adjusting plans around your usual rhythm, his behavior quietly adapts to make you feel more understood. That's not convenience, it's care. This kind of memory isn't passive, it's emotional. It shows that your comfort, your preferences, and your habits have become part of how he thinks. He anticipates your needs before you even ask, not because he's trying to be perfect, but because he values the parts of you most people overlook. He stores your routines like important notes in his mind, and slowly you become a part of his natural thinking. It's one thing to listen, it's another thing to remember. And when a man remembers these small things about you consistently, it's because you've moved from just someone he likes to someone he's deeply connected to. This isn't loud, dramatic love, it's quiet devotion. And sometimes the strongest form of affection is remembering the softest parts of someone, simply because they matter. 5. He subtly includes you in his future plans. When a man has quietly chosen you, one of the most telling signs is how naturally you start appearing in his future plans. It's not always a big announcement or a dramatic conversation. It often begins with the way he speaks. He'll say things like, "We should try that place someday," or "Next year we could travel there." And just like that, you're a part of his imagined future. These subtle mentions are not accidents. They reveal where his heart is headed. It's not just about casual talk. It's about the emotional shift behind his words. He starts thinking in terms of we instead of I. His decisions begin to include you, his goals begin to consider you, and his future starts to feel incomplete without you in it. Whether it's something as small as buying 2 tickets to a show or mentioning where he wants to live one day, the message is the same. He sees you there. This shift doesn't always come with big gestures. It's quiet, sincere, and incredibly meaningful. You'll notice he begins to ask for your opinion on long-term things, checks if you'd be okay with a change he's considering, or casually talks about life months, or even years, ahead with you in the picture. These aren't forced conversations. They're reflections of where his mind already is. When a man includes you in his future, even in small ways, it means his feelings are grounded and growing. He's not planning around you as a maybe. He's imagining life with you as a constant. And often, that quiet inclusion speaks louder than any spoken promise. Because when someone begins to see you in their tomorrow, it means they've already started choosing you today. 6. He mirrors your mood and energy without realizing it. When a man is emotionally connected to you, he begins to mirror your mood and energy without even realizing it. This silent reflection isn't something he plans or controls. It's a natural response rooted in empathy and attachment. If you're happy, he lights up with ease. If you're feeling low or withdrawn, his energy quietly shifts to match yours. He feels your presence so deeply that your emotional state begins to influence his own. This mirroring happens in tone, posture, expression, and rhythm. You might notice him becoming calmer when you're calm, more animated when you're excited, or quieter when you're feeling off. He doesn't do this to mimic you or manipulate the moment. He does it because he's emotionally in tune with you. Your feelings affect his, and your energy leaves an impression that shapes his own behavior. This is a quiet but powerful form of connection. It shows that he's not just observing you, he's feeling with you. His emotions are no longer operating separately from yours. They're beginning to sync. That kind of attunement can't be faked. It only happens when someone genuinely cares, when they're present enough to pick up the subtle changes in how you carry yourself. And while he may not be aware he's doing it, you'll feel the difference. You'll sense that your sadness softens him, your joy lifts him, and your silence invites his stillness. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, but it's real. Because when a man starts unconsciously mirroring you, it means your emotional world has started to merge with his. It's one of the clearest, most beautiful signs that his heart is quietly aligning itself with yours. 7. He shows up when it matters most. When a man is truly choosing you, one of the clearest signs is how he shows up. Not just when it's easy, but especially when it matters most. In moments of stress, uncertainty, sadness, or need, he doesn't disappear. He doesn't offer excuses or distance. Instead, he finds a way to be there, even if he doesn't have the perfect words or solutions. His presence becomes a quiet kind of support, one that speaks louder than anything he could say. These moments are not about convenience, they're about commitment. He understands that showing up during your tough times is when his presence holds the most weight. Whether you need a hand, a voice, or just someone to sit beside you in silence, he steps in without hesitation. It may not always be dramatic or obvious, but it's consistent. He shows you that your struggles are not just yours, they matter to him too. This kind of reliability doesn't come from obligation, it comes from care. When he chooses to be there when you're hurting, overwhelmed, or vulnerable, it's because he's emotionally invested. He doesn't wait for an invitation. He recognizes the moments that matter and chooses to stand beside you in them. That's when you know his intentions aren't temporary. Being present when everything is fine is easy, but being there when life is hard, when you're unsure, when you're not your best, that's where real affection shows. And when a man shows up during those moments, it's a silent, powerful way of saying, you don't have to go through this alone. Because real connection isn't measured in convenience, it's measured in consistency. And when he consistently shows up when it counts, it means you've already become someone he's choosing with his whole heart. 8. He gives you his undivided attention. When a man is genuinely choosing you, one of the most telling signs is how fully present he becomes when he's with you. In a world full of distractions, phones buzzing, conversations overlapping, thoughts racing, his ability to give you his undivided attention stands out. He's not half listening or checking his notifications while you speak. He's fully engaged, eyes on you, mind focused, body language open. You feel seen, not just heard. This kind of attention isn't forced. It flows naturally from a place of care and emotional connection. He's not just waiting for his turn to talk. He's genuinely interested in what you're saying, how you're feeling, and what's going on in your world. He's not multitasking when you're sharing something important, and he doesn't treat your time like background noise. He treats it like it matters, because to him, it does. You'll notice he remembers the things you say, even if they seem small. He asks follow-up questions days later. He reacts to your tone, your pauses, your silences. His focus isn't just physical, it's emotional. Being with you doesn't feel like a pause in his day. It feels like the part he values most. When someone gives you this kind of presence, it's a reflection of how deeply they respect and value you. It's one of the purest ways of saying, right now, you are the only thing that matters. And that level of attention is not something people give lightly. It's a quiet form of devotion. And when a man offers it freely, consistently, and without needing to be asked, it means he's already chosen you, fully, honestly, and from the heart. 9. He chooses your side in group conversations. When a man is truly falling for you, his loyalty begins to show in the quietest ways, especially in group settings. One of those ways is how he naturally leans toward your side during conversations, even when opinions differ or the atmosphere becomes tense. Without making it obvious or dramatic, he supports your perspective, backs your thoughts, and gives weight to your words in front of others. His actions are subtle but intentional, and they speak volumes about where his heart stands. He may not always agree with everything you say, but the way he handles it shows care. Rather than opposing you or undermining you publicly, he chooses respect. He listens attentively, defends your voice when others speak over it, and validates your contributions, especially when they're being dismissed. In group dynamics, where people often try to impress or assert themselves, he consistently leans toward your side, not because he's trying to please you, but because he values you. This behavior is not about flattery or blind agreement. It's about protection and trust. He wants you to feel safe expressing yourself, even when the room is full. He wants you to know that someone's there, paying attention, and willing to stand beside you, no matter who else is speaking. And when disagreements do come up, he handles them gently, choosing to preserve your dignity rather than win a point. Choosing your side isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it's in a supportive glance, a soft nod, or the way he steers the conversation to make space for your voice. But the meaning behind it is always clear. He's not just with you when it's easy, he's quietly standing beside you when it matters. And when a man does that in front of others, it's a powerful, silent way of showing that in his heart, he's already chosen you. 10. He protects your peace in small, thoughtful ways. When a man is truly choosing you, one of the most meaningful signs is how he protects your peace, not through grand gestures, but in quiet, thoughtful ways that often go unnoticed. He becomes sensitive to what affects your mood, what drains your energy, and what makes you feel uneasy. And without needing to be asked, he starts removing small obstacles, calming situations, or adjusting his own behavior to preserve your emotional space. He may lower his voice when you're overwhelmed, pause a conversation when he senses you need silence, or shield you from stressful people and uncomfortable topics. He chooses his words carefully around you, not out of fear, but out of respect for your inner world. He becomes a soft place you can land when everything else feels heavy. His concern isn't just for how you're doing on the outside, but how you're feeling on the inside. This kind of care isn't loud. It's not something he announces. It's in the way he lets you rest when you're tired, gives you space when you're anxious, or listens without fixing when you just need to vent. It's in the way he notices when something is off and gently responds without pressing too hard. He doesn't try to control your emotions. He supports them. He doesn't demand strength from you. He gives you room to breathe. When someone quietly protects your peace, they are saying something deep without using words. They're showing you that your comfort matters, your boundaries are safe, and your well-being is part of their concern. And when a man consistently chooses to become a source of calm instead of chaos, it's not just affection. It's love in its most mature and quiet form. 11. He watches you when you're not looking. When a man is truly drawn to you, one of the most honest signs is how his eyes find you when you're not looking. It's in those quiet moments, when you're speaking to someone else, laughing at something small, or simply sitting in silence, that he watches you with a softness that speaks louder than words. He doesn't do it to be caught or noticed. In fact, the beauty of it lies in the fact that he thinks you won't see it at all. This kind of gaze isn't about desire alone. It's about admiration, curiosity, and emotional connection. He's not just looking at your appearance. He's absorbing the way you move, how you speak, the expressions you make when you think no one's paying attention. It's in these unguarded moments that he feels closest to you. There's something about seeing you in your most natural state that makes him feel even more connected. He may glance at you across the room, or pause mid-conversation just to steal a second more of you. His look isn't loud or intense. It's gentle, often fleeting, but full of meaning. It's the kind of gaze that people carry when they know they've found something special, something they're still trying to understand but already care about deeply. When a man watches you when you're not looking, it's his heart paying attention without his mind interfering. It's love in its earliest, purest form, quiet, reverent, and sincere. Because in those moments, he's not trying to impress or perform. He's simply appreciating you for who you are. And when someone chooses to see you fully in the silence, it means they've already chosen you in ways they haven't yet said out loud. 12. He adjusts his behavior based on what makes you comfortable. When a man is quietly falling for you, one of the strongest yet most subtle signs is how he begins to adjust his behavior to match what makes you feel comfortable. He pays attention, not just to what you say, but to how you react, what makes you tense and what puts you at ease. And over time, without needing to be told directly, he changes small parts of himself to make you feel safe, seen, and respected. This doesn't mean he stops being himself. It means he becomes more thoughtful in how he moves around you. If he notices you don't like loud jokes or teasing in public, he tones it down. If he sees that certain topics bother you, he avoids them. If he learns that you value soft communication, he chooses his words more carefully. These changes are not about manipulation. They're quiet acts of care that show he values your emotional comfort as much as his own preferences. It's in these subtle shifts that his affection reveals itself. He doesn't try to force you into his world. Instead, he gently reshapes pieces of his to welcome you in. He adapts not to impress you, but to be more in tune with what helps you feel at peace. Your comfort becomes part of his instinct. He begins to consider your feelings before making decisions that involve you, even in the smallest ways. This kind of adjustment is a quiet form of love. It's not loud or performative, and he might never talk about it openly, but you'll feel it in the way you relax more around him, in the way he brings calm instead of pressure, and in how he starts to naturally align with your rhythm. Because when someone chooses to grow in ways that protect your peace, it means their heart is already holding space for you. 13. He finds comfort just being around you. When a man is genuinely developing feelings for you, one of the most telling signs is the comfort he finds simply by being near you. He doesn't need constant excitement, elaborate plans, or non-stop conversation to enjoy your presence. Just existing in the same space, doing nothing special at all, feels fulfilling to him. Your energy becomes something he quietly seeks, not because he's trying to escape something, but because being around you brings him peace. You might notice how he settles down when he's with you, how his tone softens, or how he seems more at ease. It's in the way he doesn't rush to leave or feel the need to fill every silence. Those pauses between words, the quiet moments, and the shared stillness start to mean something. He begins to associate you with emotional safety, and over time, your presence starts to feel like home. This kind of comfort isn't forced or created overnight. It grows from trust, care, and a genuine emotional bond. It's deeper than physical attraction or surface-level interest. When a man can sit beside you and feel whole, without needing to perform, entertain, or prove anything, that's when you know he's truly letting you in. He may not always say it out loud, but his body language, his tone, and his actions will tell you. He shows up more often. He stays longer. He chooses your presence over distractions. That peace he finds with you becomes addictive in the most sincere way. Because when a man feels calm around you, when his guard drops and his heart slows down in your company, it means he's not just interested, he's connected. And that comfort is one of the clearest signs he's already choosing you, over and over again. 14. He shares personal moments and quiet thoughts with you. When a man begins to share his personal moments and quiet thoughts with you, it's a powerful sign that his feelings are deepening. These aren't the stories he tells everyone. These are the parts of himself he usually keeps tucked away. Whether it's memories from his past, reflections he rarely speaks aloud, or thoughts he's still trying to figure out, he chooses you as the one to hold them. That choice comes from trust, vulnerability, and emotional intimacy that grows slowly but deliberately. He may start by sharing little things, an old scar and the story behind it, a favorite memory from childhood, or a habit he picked up during a difficult time. Over time, those moments become deeper. The fears he carries, the dreams he's afraid to chase, or the pressure he puts on himself. These aren't shared for attention or sympathy. They're shared because, in you, he sees someone who will understand. This kind of openness doesn't come easily for most men. Society often teaches them to keep their emotions guarded, to speak with strength rather than softness. So when he begins to open that quiet inner world to you, it's not accidental, it's intentional. He's slowly letting you into a place few people have access to. He doesn't need to phrase it perfectly or explain it all. He just needs to know you're listening, that you'll hold it without judgment. These quiet confessions, these personal stories, are not just words, they are pieces of who he is. And when a man trusts you enough to offer those pieces, it means you've become more than someone he likes. You've become someone he feels emotionally safe with. That level of sharing is never casual. It's the sound of someone silently saying, "You matter. I want you to see who I really am." 15. He looks for you first in every room. When a man has truly chosen you in his heart, one of the quietest yet most revealing signs is how he instinctively looks for you first whenever he enters a room. Whether it's a party, a gathering, or even a simple meeting with friends, his eyes search for your presence before anything else. It's not always conscious or deliberate, it's reflexive. You've become his emotional anchor, and being able to spot you brings him a subtle sense of peace, focus, and comfort. This habit says more than words ever could. It means that, in the middle of noise and distractions, his mind still orients toward you. You are his safe point, his grounding presence. He doesn't need to explain why. Your presence simply matters more. Even in a room full of people, he feels more relaxed, more complete, just by knowing where you are. Sometimes he'll smile when he sees you. Other times, he'll just soften. But every time, you'll know he was looking. He might not always speak to you first or walk directly over, but his body language reveals everything. That quick glance around, that pause in his step, it's his heart reaching for yours silently. And often, you won't even notice it unless you're watching for it. But it's there, every time. A small, beautiful confirmation that you've become someone who matters in his daily experience. This quiet act of searching reflects emotional presence. It shows that you're not just on his mind, you've become a priority in his world. When a man looks for you first, it's his way of saying, "I feel better when I know you're here." No words, no big gestures, just instinct. And that instinct, more than anything, reveals how deeply he's already chosen you.